Here at Somerset, I appreciate you taking time to come in and kick off our 2025 school year. We've got kind of a lot of ground to cover, trying something a little bit new this year. The requirement piece, just because a lot of times questions come up where we hope we answer them in a setting like this. They can help for clarification, and then it's not so much brand new to it, people. It's just, oh, that's right, we covered this once type of stuff. Along with that, as you came in, if you didn't catch it, there was a QR code to check in on. If you did not get that done, I'll have one displayed at the end. You can do it again. Otherwise, it's out on the marker board. As you get done today, you can go out and check in that way. Just asking, the parent that's with and student that was here with you, or students. Up front, and I'll probably touch on this again, but up front we have some flyers on some letter jacket information from one of the businesses that does it. Out of Stillwater Heritage is the company. So if you want to take a photo of that, you're wondering about letter jackets for some. That'd be a good opportunity to do that. And then also there's the actual paperwork for alternate year card and physicals up here for those that might need those yet as well. A lot of the information, again, I'll cover as we kind of zip through my slide presentation here coming up. But first, this summer we rebranded our lifting program. We went from what we've been doing called BFS for the last, 20 some years or so. And has evolved over the years, but it's always kind of been known as what we've been doing since the early 2000s. When you hear of our Somerset lifting, it's BFS. Well, we've branched out, switched it up. Doesn't change a whole lot of what we're doing other than we're trying to be more efficient, more effectively. So now we're calling it Spartan Strength. And along those lines, Coach Keekoffer, who's been our main weight room person the last 4 to 5 years, has been working with a lot of different strength and conditioning people and trying to rebrand and try to revamp and try to keep up with the times of lifting and all the things. So we worked with Mr. Carmen Pata here. He's going to come in and speak. He spoke to your student athletes if they were here in the summer, this summer. Early on, he came in, kind of told what the expectations are of this program. Tonight I asked him to come in and speak a little bit more specifically to what parents can help with, and that's the nutrition side of things and the sleep benefits, along with some of the other benefits we're getting from what we're trying to do in the weight room. We have been hammering these things with the kids all summer, and a lot of them are taking advantage of those by purchasing. We have protein drinks and granola protein bars and things like that in our weight room in a fridge for $1 each, right? So it's cheaper than you could go to any store and get, and it kind of helps just reimburse a little bit of what we're paying for. So those are just some of the things, but then ultimately, obviously, it comes back to what can you do at home to help them refuel? What can you do at home to help them encourage that they're getting as maximum amount of sleep as possible, and things like that. So, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Cameron and let him take it away.
Thanks, Roy. Appreciate it. First off, thank you all for coming in quick tonight. I promise this is not going to be death by PowerPoint slide for you all, but I wanted to pass on the same information my friends are talking to me about, because they all want to answer the same question. What can I do right now to best support my son or daughter in their high school sports? That's always the big question. My background, I know Troy passed it out for some of you who didn't catch it. I was a college strength and conditioning coach for 23 years just down the road at UW River Falls. In that time, I got a chance to work with over 11,000 college athletes for their entire career. Most of the issues I saw with them are very similar to what we're seeing at the high school level. In addition to that, just to help you out with all the letters with my name, I do have a master's degree in exercise and sports science. I'm a certified strength and conditioning specialist with distinction through the National Strength Coaches Association. That's the governing body for all strength coaches. And my RSCC means I had full-time I was a full-time strength and conditioning coach for over 20 years, right? It was just not, hey, I sort of do this lifting thing, but I also do these other things. No, that wasn't that. I'm full-time as a college strength coach or professional strength coach. The all-around good guy title, that was my hardest one to earn, and I hope I still deserve that one. With answering questions from parents, right? Early in my career, I thought that there was this one thing, this one magical moment that I could fix everything. If only I designed the best program. If only I got to like the perfect dialed in nutrition for athletes. That was going to take them from being okay to great. And what I learned in that time was it just wasn't one thing, right? There was no magic secret. All that we really had to do to separate people, and by the way, athletes in this room, you need to understand that the higher you go, the more narrow the chance of winning or losing is, right? It's really easy to beat up a really bad team, but if we're playing for a state championship, everybody is about the same level. And it's just these little things that you can or can't do that are going to separate yourself. So I stopped believing that there was just this one little secret. If only I had the best lifting program in the world. Instead, I tried to figure out what the common mistakes are and let's fix them. With that, I spend a lot of my time with this. What are things that are really easy to do? And we can get the biggest bang out of our buck for them. And folks, what I'm going to talk about in this next 15 to 20 minutes are things that are so so simple to do, they're overlooked. You heard me mix up my words there for a moment. They are simple to do, but they are not easy to do. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. We wouldn't have to have this kind of conversation right now. They're simple though, and the most simple thing you can do is help your sons and daughters get some sleep. Because we know that if you don't get enough sleep, here are all the bad things that happen to you. You know, the things that make the biggest impact in my world is this. If you're tired, you're slow and weak. Relatively, right? The strongest person in the room is still going to be the strongest person in the room. The fastest person in the room is still going to be fast, even if they're asleep. But we don't play in a relative world, right? We're not comparing us against us. We compare ourselves against our opponents. And if our fastest player is slower than their fastest player, we got some issues. Going down the line, right? I think we all understand this concept that if you're tired, you get cranky. When you get cranky, you make mistakes. Coaches beat their head against the wall because they get so frustrated when people make a mistake that they haven't done in years, but all of a sudden they did it when it mattered during a game. I hope none of you experience that, but I can talk for myself and other coaches that we get that all the time. This player out of the blue reverted back to something that they did in 8th grade. Why did you do that? I don't know. Good chance you're tired. This is the biggest headache. Situational awareness, right? In a basketball example, what I mean by that, situational awareness is just seeing what's happening around you. We call a timeout, we're up by 1 in a basketball game. Coach says, all right, here's the deal. If number 50 inbounds the ball and number 7 is in the wing, they're going to run this. So this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to fix this. Everyone got it? Yes, let's break, get out there. Guess what? 50 inbounds the ball, 7's in the far wing. Lights and bells should be going off on people. Everyone sees it except for one person. They were just focused on something else. They lost what we call situational awareness. They didn't know what was going on. And lastly, we know because you're slow, because you're weak, because you're not seeing things, your chance of injury goes way up. And it doesn't matter how good you are no help to the team if you're sitting in the training room. I understand injuries are part of the game. We try to do our best to mitigate those injuries. everyone who's talked to me this summer, they saw this. The big take-home message is the more you sleep, right, 9 hours compared to 5, the less likely you are to get hurt. This study was done with over 86,000 high school athletes. Pretty good sample size right there. The more you sleep, the less likely you are to get hurt. Some of you might be thinking, well, coach, sorry, I got ahead of myself. What else happens if I get enough sleep? Oh, good question. Guess what? You are faster. This study was done as a pilot study with college swim team and basketball team. All that they said was, all right, we're tested you, speed, reaction, how efficient you are swimming, right? It was a nautical event. We're going to test you out and compare what happens 5 weeks from now. And the only thing this study measured was you need to get to bed for 10 hours a night. I didn't say asleep. I said your butt needs to be in bed for 10 hours a night, no electronics. 5 weeks later, hey, we're faster. We react better, and we're more efficient in moving. In addition to that, the basketball team showed these improvements. We shot better, so it's not only physical development, it's small tactical movements, those fine motor skills that we all take for granted. What do? They just rested. They got to bed earlier. They stayed in bed. They didn't change much. They just got more rest. Now, please don't misunderstand me. I did not say if you sleep, you will be faster. No. If you are fast and you're tired, we're going to get your speed back. We're going to make sure that you're well rested so you can perform and do it your best. How they did that, this is what I recommend. Took it from the study. They have a performance sleep schedule. Why this is important, especially in an athletic setting, is we all are going to have away games. At a college world and in a high school setting, teachers don't care if you show back up at 1 o'clock in the morning because you just got back from Superior or wherever your farthest away game is. No one cares about that. They care that it's school time and you have to be here. So how do you get to bed early? Well, first thing, the baseline is you need to keep your room cool, dark, and quiet. However that sets up for you. If you have central air, great. If you have an air conditioner and a window, great. If you don't, have a fan. If you share your room with somebody, like my kids do, they have sleep masks, right? Because one kid is always going to be up digging around, messing around, doing other things. Put a sleep mask on, block out the light. Turn a fan on to create white noise. It helps with airflow, keeps things cool. Once that is set, my kids have alarm clocks that go off at the same time every single day, on Sundays, on Thanksgiving. I don't have to do it for Christmas because they still get excited and wake up early. But it doesn't matter what day of the week it is, at 6:30, the alarm clock goes off. And if they're not out of bed at 6:40, it is not Dad that comes down to wake them up. No, it's Coach Pat. And I am loud and obnoxious, and they get up and they get out of bed and they get moving. Why? Because I want to keep them on a schedule. And if they're tired, they need to go to bed earlier. They don't get to sleep in. In addition to that, right, our performance sleep schedule is up behind me. Take a shower, relax. Kill electronics, walk it away. Why? Because our eyes, we are meant to be up and doing things during the day. This should not be a surprise to anyone. And when it gets dark and we're looking at a screen, our eyes are tricked thinking that it's still daylight. So what do we do during daylight times? We stay up and we do things. So let's take that part out of the equation. Get a book, a real book, preferably a fiction story. Our brains like fiction. We like to be lost in a great story. So feed into that. You want to take everything that's a distraction and sort of shut it off. Most people get lost in a great story. Turn on a soft, quiet playlist, do some visualization work, and get them to bed. Parents, this sort of comes back to you a little. Making sure that they are going to bed. Making sure that your sons and daughters are taking advantage of rest time. And where athletes come into play, they're like, but coach, can't I just have these? Have you not heard of these? These energy drinks? Well, yeah, I have. And you have to ask yourself, do they help? Energy drinks are tough because it's caffeine and, like a B vitamin thing, caffeine and other stimulants. And the way our body works, especially when it comes to a drug, 1 + 1 does not equal 2. You can't just have a little bit of one stimulant and a little bit of something else and think you're going to have the same benefit. It doesn't work that way. Our bodies all react a little bit different. And does caffeine help? We got to answer that question first. Yes, with an asterisk. Depending on the sport, it might help. It might burn through energy reserves faster. We don't want to go through energy reserves, especially if you're doing a long duration activity. Where most people mess up, they either take too much or too little caffeine. For most of the athletes in this room, if you're going to supplement with a caffeine thing, maybe a cup and a half of coffee. For most people, right? It's size dependent. It's sensitivity dependent, right? If you react really bad to caffeine, don't do it. Don't use it. You'll be fine without. The thing that I come into question with energy drinks is because the body responds differently to multiple drugs taken at the same time, I want to take a look at what are the negative consequences of caffeine. Now, this study, this was a meta-analysis, right? So the authors of this study looked at 427 articles written throughout all sorts of medical journals. The key word was energy drink and emergency medical interventions. People went to the hospital for some reason, and the link to that was because they had an energy drink. Now, we don't know exactly how much. We don't know the combination. We don't know the activity that they're doing. But we know that they had a negative reaction and they sought out emergency medical services. That scares me. Now, we know that about half of high school age people consume energy drinks on a regular basis. There's not one study that's going to ever be produced saying, hey, we want permission to give your sons or daughters, we're going to keep feeding them an energy drink until we have to have a medical intervention. That's just unethical. That's not going to happen. So we have to look at observational data. About half the people who went to the hospital had a heart issue. So I expanded on that just a little. Out of that half, here's the breakdown. Not a shock. They had irregular heartbeats. Sort of bad. This is really bad. They crashed, and they had to get resuscitated to come back. Come up a little bit more, and just flat out died. And again, we don't know the amount. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know how it happened. But some way, somehow, that person ended up in the hospital, and these were the outcomes. To me, as a performance specialist, is it worth it? I always take a very conservative approach. No, it is not worth it to me. Does caffeine help? Yes. Could you get the same benefit of having a cup of coffee if you really wanted to? Yes. Could you follow the American Pediatrics Society's recommendation? I think you should. It's a scary thing that we're messing around with. I am not a physician. I am just relaying the physician's thoughts. Should not be a part of your sons and daughters' lives. You know, I've spent about 10 minutes sort of getting into some tougher topics, right? I get that. And I never like walking out of here I don't like saying, here's the problems, peace out, you figure it out. That's not me. Let's come up with a plan, a strategy that we can implement. And I told you before, things that I'm going to recommend, they are simple, but they are not easy. It takes time. It takes a little effort. And the biggest thing you can start with is, let's figure out a schedule. My suggested schedule. And by the way, everybody, at the end, you're going to have a chance to download all my slides and notes, so don't feel like you have to take notes right off the bat. We have 0 hour Spartan strength. If we are just on a lifting day, right? This is what I'm assuming. I know Ben was talking to me, they're thinking about starting at 7 o'clock this year instead of 6:45, vice versa. Great. Just adjust everything. This is my suggested schedule. Hey, let's get up, let's have a snack, let's lift, let's snack. Do we really need a morning snack at 10:03 if you have lunch at 10:57? No. A little bit later, yeah, that might be a good idea. When I first introduced this idea to my friends and their kids, their mom and dads are asking me, do my kid really need to eat this much and this often? Like, well, first off, yeah, a snack is not Thanksgiving dinner, right? It's a little bit of a protein. Proteins are like repair structures. Usually we talk about proteins as like animal tissue and a little bit of carbohydrates. Not much, doesn't have to be more, a ton of it. We're going to get you some examples here in a moment. But my analogy to my friends' parents, think of it this way. If we're going to drive from Somerset right now and pick an ocean, East Coast, West Coast, doesn't matter. You have one of three options for your drive there. Either we could figure out all the gas we need, right? You know your own vehicles, you know average mileage, we know how far it is from like New York City or LA. We can figure that out, figure out how many gallons of gas you need. You could put all that gas in your car right now and start on a drive. Every single drop that you need to get to either destination, we can figure that out. That's one option. Second option is we could go out to your vehicles right now and start driving. And once we get to our destination, we say, all right, you made it. Now let's give you all the gas that you needed to get here. Third option is you fill up the tank, you start driving, 3 hours later you stop, go to the bathroom, fill up the tank again, start driving, go 3 hours, fill up the tank. Similar concepts, right? Some people just think, hey, I'm just gonna have this giant breakfast and this is all I need all day, right? That's that first analogy of the car. We're gonna figure out how much fuel you need, just shove it in there and then the fuel's gonna hang out all over the car. Other people like, I'm just gonna get up, I don't need to eat. Tonight I'm gonna have a giant dinner. Well, that's like the second option. What happens then? You start stripping away the vehicle. It doesn't go as fast, doesn't go as far, it doesn't accelerate as well. Or we can just take care of your body and keep doing different snacks. I brought up protein. Troy talked about protein. Remember, proteins are repair structures for competitive athletes, which all the participants in this room are. Sort of the general consensus rule of thumb is like 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And people ask me all the time, Coach, should I use whey protein? Maybe. Do you have adequate food that you can eat? I'd rather have you do that before you supplement with something. If you have food, can you keep it cool? Can you reheat it? Because no one wants tummy troubles, right? You cannot take a pint of chocolate milk, throw it in your car in the morning, and then at practice at 3:30 in August, you finish drinking it. It doesn't work that way. You're gonna have a bad experience later that night. Can you supplement? Yeah. To me, it's easy, it's convenient. As someone who's been lifting and training for getting close to 40 years, it tastes a whole lot better now than it used to like in the 80s and 90s. Is it an option? Yeah, it sure is. Still talking about a schedule. What should we do if on a weekend schedule? Get up at 6:30 on a Saturday? Yes. Keep your schedule. If you're tired, sure, you can take a nap. I'm assuming that we have a 3:30 start time, right? Other things that people freak out is, you want me to lift before the game? Yes. Now, I'm not saying you go in and you get so beat up that you're tired, sweaty, and you can't do anything. That's not an in-season lift. Be hot, loose, and nasty. Throw something light around. This is something I was talking to Ben about before. Do some easy jumps and we get going. By the way, athletes, if you want to play in college, there's a good chance you will lift on game day, either before or after the game. Just get used to that idea. Weeknight game, 7 o'clock, we're thinking start time. Similar structure. Once again, lifting before the game, sure, spend 20 minutes. Hot, loose, and nasty. Get in bed and call it a night. General rule of thumb is if you are sleepy midday, mid-afternoon, chances are you need to go to bed sooner. You're not getting enough sleep, right? Because everyone always asks, well, recommendation sort of 8 hours, but sometimes I hear 10, some it's 7. Sure, if you are sleepy at like 1 o'clock, get to bed sooner that night. As we're breaking down the schedule, right, I want to make sure I leave you with good information. What should you do, parents? The morning of or night before a game, especially if it's an early morning start. Well, first thing, please do not try any new foods at a new restaurant that's a new cuisine. As much as I love eating different foods from all over the world, if I'm competing that night, I do not want to try like a new spicy food restaurant. No tummy troubles before the games. Consuming enough water. For time's sake, I cut that part out of our talk tonight, but water is simple. Drink it. Have it on a schedule. The ideal amount, about half your body weight of ounces of water. If you're 150 pounds, you're aiming for like 75 ounces throughout the day. If you're 200 pounds, it's about 100 ounces. If you're 100 pounds, it's about 50. Getting closer to game time. Big meal before the game. This is not Thanksgiving meal. When you walk out from your pregame meal, you should not be hungry, but you should not be full. You should be comfortable. Just being comfortable. Lots of protein. I hate to break it. My college athletes drove me crazy on this. Quick Trip fried chicken is fantastic. It is not a great pregame food. High fat, high protein foods make you sleepy. I'll say that again. High fat, high protein foods make you sleepy. Get the grilled stuff. Don't get the deep fried things. Snacking, you heard me say before, you should never be hungry before a game, but you shouldn't be full either. You're just content. Well, you have to snack. When it comes down to it, liquid, soft, and mushy foods for snacks. Keep it simple, keep it easy. My favorites right here. Bananas, granola bars, gummy worms. Snack. I'm not saying eat the entire bag or the entire box. It's not that. Just have a couple snacks, take the edge off. Make sure you're drinking Gatorade on hot days, water on not so hot days, but you're still pushing your fluid intake. Does not end when the game ends. You have to get your body reloaded again. Post-game snacks, chocolate milk, super easy. The only downfall of these two things is that you have to keep them cold. You do not, and once again, my recommendations, if you have any dietary allergies or aversions, may not work with you, but there are plenty of options out there. A peanut butter jelly sandwich after a game goes a long way. Washing that down with a Gatorade goes a long way, or a banana. Real simple things, eat. And folks, by the way, all my references, so you can double check where I'm getting my ideas from. I started off this conversation saying that everything I was going to talk to you about are simple ideas. They are. Go to bed, eat food, drink water. Super simple. They're not always easy to implement, We have family commitments, social commitments, and just our kids are going to be kids, whether we like it or not. Coming up with schedules is an easy way to do that. Remember, when classes start in a couple weeks, the school district doesn't say, hey, just show up whenever. And when you sort of feel like taking a different class, just get up and go here. No, it's scheduled for them. We know when they start, when they stop. We know the important times and dates. It's simple. It's not easy. It takes time. It takes a little bit of effort. As I'm landing the plane here, I have one favor. Help me answer the question that's going through Troy's brain right now. Was this worth it for you? Was this good information? And you can do that by scanning that with your phone. All the notes that I had, everything that I gave you, you can download it all. Troy's thinking right now, you know, we made a commitment with Coach Pata, we brought him in, helped us out with our athletes, helped us out designing programs, helped us out educating our parents. Was it worth it? Did you find this valuable? There's also a couple questions for me too. How did I do? I'm a sports guy. I'm played competitive athletics my entire life. At my age, there's no competitive athletics anymore. This is my game. I want to know if I won or if I lost. How did I do getting the information to you? So we have a few minutes. Troy, do I have time for a question or two, or before we break up into Troy's meeting and all the other sports meetings? Is there something specific I can answer for anyone in here?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If an athlete comes to one of the trainers and asks if supplements are safe or not, are there people that are trained or at least give them the right information?
That's a great question. If y'all didn't hear it, if an athlete had a question about supplements, right, and if they come up to one of the coaches or athletic trainers, do they have that information? I don't know if they have that information. What I look for, first off, I have a conversation, why are you interested in it, right? And can we cover that with something else, with your diet or normal nutrition? Some people still want to go on above and beyond. The thing I recommend looking for on the back of a package is a blue dot with white letters that says NSF on it. That is the highest certification guaranteed that whatever is on the package is actually what you're consuming. Products that don't, I can't make that statement. So, and if there's a specific question that no one here is able to answer, get it to Troy and he gets it to me and I'll give it my thumbs up or thumbs down. So, thank you for your question. Do we have anything else? Okay, well, hey, I appreciate your time. I know Troy's gonna finish up with his things, and like I said, parents, athletes, if you come up with follow-up questions after the fact, let your staff know. Let Troy know, let Ben know, let any of your sport coaches know. We've been in constant contact. I'm happy to continue that. So, I appreciate your time and attention today. Thank you much.
All right. So, we really think this is really, really important. That's why we took time out to do this. We said it's an investment we're making in our athletic program to have that input and to validate some of the things we're doing and to get better at some of the things we're doing. You know, those that have been around here a long time and know we've had some really, really good success over the years in Somerset. We've seen it in bits and pieces these last few years. This is the awards that we won last year in this year. Conference titles and state appearances and sectional championships. My argument to that is we could be better. Like, you know, yeah, those are cool, those are fun, but, you know, when I first got here, a person told me, your success in this community is based on what we're doing in these halls. When you have multiple teams and every season having success, this community is better for it. And I'm a firm believer in that as well. And so my job is to give our coaches as many tools in their toolbox to be as successful as we possibly can. And I'm competitive as it comes, and winning is fun. And when we're putting things like that in our trophy cases, that's a fun thing. And so, is it all about winning? No, but it sure is fun. So, a couple other things that we went through: our soccer teams coming back 3 times, conference champs. Just some of the things that we're going through tonight. We've already kind of kicked off. There's our cheer team from last year, winning state and runner-up. For those that don't know me very well, I'm entering my 9th year here in Somerset, my 3rd year as athletic director, my 26th year overall. In education, I still teach 0 hour along with Coach Kiekoffer. I teach leadership class and I teach health. And then the other half of the day, I'm athletic director. So I stay busy. I am head boys basketball coach as well. Our coaches that are with us and you'll break out with, and I'm sure many of you know, and Coach Hutter, I don't think he's here yet. He's at our school board meeting right now presenting. We have Dennis Potter, who's been with our girls program for a while. Coach Potter, come here. They can't see you back there. In case you haven't known, yeah, he's been here a few years. That's awesome. With Hoff retiring, both him and I moved up the chain a little bit further as the old guys in the building, but that's all right. Coach Freeze, our volleyball coach. Karsten Grover is our boys soccer coach coming back. Christina Moraz is our cross-country coach. Tasia Berger is our cheer. And Devin McDermott is our dance coach. So, every single one of these have been here multiple years. Another strong foundation with success is having coaches that are willing to invest and be around for multiple years. Talked about Carmen already. Here's a glimpse of what our weight room looks like if you haven't made your way down there. Has been an invaluable resource to us so far. We think we made a lot of strides this year, this summer with it. We're excited to see what the school year brings of how we can keep growing it and expanding it. A couple things. Many of you have already registered. It's a brand new process, as all of you are finding out that have. The state of Wisconsin went through Arbiter instead of Arbiter bought out our school, so you didn't really have a choice in the matter. It was a little bit of a learning curve, a little bit of a late start on our end of it, but it's up and running. What troubles we're having, we're kind of navigating. So again, same situation. You can find it on SomersetSpartans.com. You can go directly to arbiter.io. All the things, and obviously if you're having issues, please email me and I can help you out with that. All the fees, all the medical waivers, all the things are listed on that. Impact testing, you have to do that once a year. Once you do it, if you do it in the fall, you're good for the rest of the year. Again, I'll show you the schedule for what we have coming up. We're going to talk about the code, we're going to talk about academic eligibility. Again, physical, this is always I don't know why they said April 1st, it's just a weird date, but if you had a physical after April 1st, 2025, you're good. So if you had it late spring, or if you had it this summer, you're good for this school year and next. Next year, you just need the alternate year card. If you had that physical prior to April 1st, 2025, you need a physical this year. And again, most of you have navigated that. Some of you have questions. We have that down for you, and we can look it up. It's surprising how fast 2 years goes, because sometimes it's, well, I know we had one last year, then we look it up, no, we didn't. But sometimes you have. So, again, just be aware of that. Physical, you have to have the doctor sign it, you have to have the doctor date it, and you must sign it as a parent and date it. Alternate year card, all you need to do is sign it as a parent and date it. Okay? And again, we have extra copies, paper copies of those, but again, those are all in the Arbiter website on one of the first pages you pull up. It's off to the right side. Again, what is the impact test? We talk about it a lot. It is the baseline test that is going to set you up for where we're at. I'll let Kyle come forward in a little bit and talk more about that, but you know, that kind of sets the tone. And again, you have to do it one time, once a year. If you're, for those that aren't in football, you should have had them done, but if you haven't, you still have tomorrow morning to get them done before your first official practice. The rest of us in fall sports, after our lifting, which is going on 8 to 9:30 every morning, the rest of this week and next, Kyle's around to help administer those. Side note to that, we had a computer changeover, so if you are coming in for an impact test, please bring your Chromebook with you. We found that up today on the plot. Or if those times don't work, you will take by appointment, but we don't want to have to be here all day, so that's why we've kind of zeroed in. The last 2 years, we've kind of gotten a little bit messy by doing that stuff. Information, Spartans.com. Which is weird because it's not exactly our homepage. If you go to our regular homepage, you'll see an activities button. You can click that, and that takes you to SomersetSpartans.com. Middleborder.com, Conference.com has all, you find all the information you want on there for teams, us and all the schools in our conference. We have a Twitter page, X, whatever you call it. We have Facebook, we have Instagram. We will send out things by Infinite Campus. We will send out things through the Scoop. And anything you want to know about state playoffs and things like that is at Wisconsin.org. Again, I know he talked on this a lot, but it is a passion of mine that we're going to get better at this. And here's your opportunities, and the coaches know this, and it's partly on them and myself to make sure that we're giving you as many opportunities to do this. 0 hour, again, 7 to 7:45. Well, that's pretty early, but if you're on that schedule we talked about, it becomes easier. That doesn't work for you because I don't drive, I need to ride the bus. Great. We have intro to weight training classes for those that are brand new to lifting or aren't real comfortable yet. That's a perfect opportunity. You get credits, get credit for 0 hour, you get credit for intro to weight training, you get credit for weight training. All stuff we should be doing as athletes anyway. We shouldn't be looking for, well, how do I get to avoid my FIED credit, right? Like, when I see an athlete that's avoided their FIED credit, I scratch my head. I'm like, you could have took a lifting class that you should be doing for your team. So here you go. Intro to weight training is new to lifting. If you're experienced, take a weight training class. Can't make it to 0 hour. Awesome opportunities for you. So it kind of removes the excuse piece. Acquiring teams, the coaches might be brand news to them, but 85% need to be lifted at some point. That's a goal we have. Some are well above that, some are well below that. So we're going to continue to push for that. Why? Well, I know Carmen talked about it, but it allows you to recover from injury faster. It helps prevent injury. It gets you stronger. And guess what? You can pull up any app in the world and you can find a TikTok workout and you can do a lot of the things maybe similar. But number 4 on the bottom there is you're working out with your teammates. You're holding each other accountable. That's a huge piece to me because, you know, you're willing to do more for each other if you've been side by side all summer working out. Consistency is key. Sometimes somebody comes in every Monday, Wednesday to lift. Well, then you're missing the Tuesday, Thursday workouts because those are different. Monday's a certain lift, Tuesday's a lift, or Wednesday's a lift, Thursday's a lift. So if you're only going twice a week, you're getting the same exact lift every single week. That doesn't help you. It's not like we do every lift every day. So again, it's consistency of coming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. If you want to be as good as some of us say we want to be. As we get into our code of conduct, again, a lot of times, you know, people come to me, one of your football players, one of your volleyball players, one of your, well, I don't own any of them, but they come to me and tell me how they're doing this, not just the science student down the hall. Okay? So you're held to a higher standard. It's just the facts of life. Because you're not only representing yourself, but the team, the school, the community, and your family. Code of conduct covers 4 main areas: our academics, our attendance, our AODA, which is drugs, alcohol, and our behavior. And it's in play 365 days a year. So once you sign it, it's covering you all summer long, so you don't get a free pass in the summer months, or if you're not in season. Some of the things academically: midterms for the fall semester people, grades post November 11th. Fairly late in the year, few teams are still playing at that time, so it might ding somebody if you're not passing the class. But if you're going to your winter sports, then that's where it's going to kind of catch up with some students not met the requirements. They're on a 10-day monitoring period. If they're still eligible to play games and practice at that time, but after that 10 days, then if they're still failing any class, so if I'm failing English, and now all of a sudden I'm passing English, but I'm failing math, it counts. That's one thing that kids don't quite get, maybe parents don't either. You gotta be passing all the classes at the time. So I started up and failing this one, but now I switched and I'm failing this one. That doesn't work. If that happens, then it becomes 15 days, and this is the WIAA rule that there's nothing getting around. Sometimes we get caught up with, okay, I have to sit out 15 days. The 16th day, it's 15th is Friday, and I have a competition on Saturday. I can't play in that competition. I have to wait till the following Monday, the 16th day. It's school days, not just days overall. So that can get kind of mucky, but you know what? Doesn't make it mucky. Pass your classes. We have a system in place that you can pass classes by redoing work, by retaking tests. It's a winnable system. So take care of yourselves. End of the first semester is January 24th. Again, doesn't maybe necessarily affect fall athletes only, but some of you do all of them. Here's one that's confusing still. You have until 10 a.m. every day to be in school. 10 a.m. If you're at 10:01, you're late. Yeah, but I had to park in the back. Factor that in. Yeah, but I have to drop my brother off. Let's just factor that in, right? 10 a.m. is 10 a.m. That's 2 hours past when you should be here. Okay, and we get appointments. You understand that? That's not what we're talking about. Okay? These absences count as one of your 10 parent excused absences. Tardy to school applies here as well. It's unexcused tardies to start the day or during the classes during the day can result in loss of practice game times. Skipping class, unable to practice or play. I thought I read my schedule wrong. You wouldn't believe how many times I hear that talk, Miss Whipkey. Oh, I read my schedule wrong. Really? For the 25th time this year, you read your schedule wrong? Huh. Get where you're supposed to be. It's really not that hard. Truancy status, get past the 10 days, get a letter, those types of things. Again, above my pay grade, but when you get those things, that makes you ineligible. Parents excusing up to 10 does not allow them to practice play, so yeah, but they were home, they weren't feeling good, okay? Well, then they can sit out practice that day again. An appointment does allow them to practice and play. When in season, you must bring a note from the appointment to be eligible. If you return the same day, it's expected that day, otherwise it's due the following day. Meaning, I go to the doctor at 2, I won't be back till 4, bring the note the next day, drop it off in the office, all is good. Oh, I forgot the note. We'll have them fax it over, have them get us it somehow. So again, you can call it in, parents, and excuse them. That's a good idea. But it accumulates. You can't come at 8:15 every single day and think that that's going to be okay. Alcohol, AODA, in the code, again, all these things are mapped out in our code that you're signing, whether you're reading through it or not. Use, possession, sale, distribution, attendance at alcohol parties, if it exists, tobacco, nicotine, vapes, whatever all else is out there, controlled substances, and drugs. Use with parent permission not acceptable under the code. Some people believe that to be true. It's not. Wisconsin has a funny little rule where you sometimes can do that. Certain bars allow that. Not here. You're under the code 365 days a year. Again, some things in the past, last school year wasn't as bad, but the repeated profanity is a code violation. It can be held against you Repeated reviews of all school rules, subordination, in and out of school suspension. If you get one of those, you're automatically, we had in-school suspension doesn't mean when 3:30 hits, you get to go to practice. Don't go home. Fighting, unexcused absences, repeatedly coming in late, but before 10 a.m., cut off, excused by parent or not. That would fall under this, is what I'm talking about. Again, there'll be discussions. It won't be the first time you do it. There'll be discussion, then the next time, yep, it's time to stop. Repeatedly not in the correct class or in class on time. Violation of any school rules and poor sportsmanship in competition areas. Social media, this is a new point of emphasis. A lot of students run an Instagram account that is representing their team in sport and represents Somerset. Somerset football's official Instagram account. And students throw on there, it's game day, it's a video, it's this, it's that. Awesome, all great things. We want to promote Somerset. However, you must register that account with me. If you're going to be the person that's going to put stuff out there representing Somerset, I need to know who that is and what they're saying. We've ran into some issues of not knowing that and coming back to us and do you know this is posted? No, I do not. Now I know who I can talk to about it. Posts need to be positive about our team. Announce game day events, not focusing on poor taste photos, videos, or jabs at our opponents and individuals on those teams. Whether they're doing it or not doesn't make it right. It's not who we are. Any social media account, personal or team, that doesn't align with our values will be subject to discipline action by our code. So you're hearing it now. If you're one of those people who've been doing this, talk to me. That's awesome. We like that. But then understand that it's going to be under a little more close scrutiny, or when somebody brings me an example of, well, this is what they said about this player on that team, then we'll have to have another conversation. Yeah, here's consequences to code violations. Football, for example, 9 games, 25% would be 2.25, which is rounded up to 3. Volleyball has 15 days. And this is based on the WIA maximum amount of games played. So, failing or violations can add up in a hurry. It would take you out of a lot of events. New rule. Amateur status of NIL, name, image, and likeness. Many of you probably have heard colleges in this world of NIL where they're paying lots and lots of money for their athletes to play athletics. This is not what is being allowed in Wisconsin. This doesn't look anything like college NIL. But here's the quick synopsis. Again, it's in the code. It'd be good for you to look at. Can appear. So let's just say that not Justa wants to sponsor you because you're an athlete they want to sponsor. And they're willing to pay you money to do so. Here's something you cannot do. You cannot appear in anything wearing Somerset gear, or even if this is blacked out, I'm in black and red, it's pretty obvious that I probably represent Somerset because it's our colors. But anything that's similar to Somerset gear, you couldn't be in that. You cannot promote something that's a gambling, smoking, drinking establishment, a place like that. You cannot be paid money for performance. If you score 40 points in this game, we'll give you money to play. You can't do that. And businesses cannot be associated with the school or be school alumni. So all those ads we have of people sponsoring us, if one of those businesses says, we would like to sponsor you, they can't because they're already associated with our school. There's a lot of things in place to protect people being abused by that. Bottom line is this: if you are approached by anybody that says, hey, I'm willing to pay you money because I think you could represent me, which would be a very, 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 very small number of us, talk to me and I will help walk you through it. Do not sign any deals and take any money and then come to me later and be like, well, I didn't know. Well, I'm sorry, but you're now ineligible for the rest of your high school career because you collected on that. Again, is this going to affect a lot of us? No. But different areas of Wisconsin, it might. This has been in Minnesota for a while. There are some people you hear of out there that have gotten some things. Again, I play club whatever, and I'm in that uniform, and they want to sponsor me. Great. That's probably okay. But when in doubt, ask. Do not just say, that sounds cool. I'd love to make a few bucks. Transfer rule, if you're new to the school, you need to make sure that we get clearance before you're playing games. If you're a homeschool, you must be accredited homeschool association, and you must be in our Somerset School District. Sometimes there's some with different addresses, but it's still our district. But if you're in a different, we have the Richmond address and you're the district, then that would be an issue. So again, clearance needs to be made with that. Again, communication. If you're ill, let your coaches know. Student to coaches. Don't just assume that they know because, you didn't come to school that day. Well, a lot of coaches either work in different schools or off campus, right? We try our best to let coaches know who's gone. But a simple remind message is fine. Hey, coach, I'm out sick today. Great. Shouldn't be a friend of a friend saying, well, I think he went home. I'm not sure. Student athletes are to communicate concerns to the coach first to inform and try to resolve. What are your concerns and how can we resolve those? Coaches and players are in practices. I'm not. You as parents aren't. So how do we know exactly unless they're having that communication step first? Advocating the conflict resolution are life skills that you should be able to take with you forever. These cannot be resolved between student, athlete, coach. Parents then should step in and say, I want a conversation with the coach. Trying to limit it to your child and about what's happening. Not going to talk about other people. And again, don't come right to me. Don't bypass your coach. Come to me. I don't know. And one of the first questions I will ask, though, when we do get to know is, were they at Spartan Strike this summer? Because that might dictate a little bit of where we're going with this conversation. And 24 hours, we're always most mad right after a game when something didn't go our way. As a coach, we're upset. As a parent, we get upset. As players, sometimes we're upset. I would encourage you to, at the very least, sleep on it. Wake up in the morning still feeling the same way, then have your child talk to the coach, and then we'll go from there. Here's where Kyle comes in. Westfield has been in partnership with us for several years. They provide us referrals to physical therapy. They refer to physicians, emergency care if needed. They should be the first person your child talks to. We're not saying you have to use Westfields as your primary doctor. We are saying that they will provide you free analysis of your child and they can give you recommendations of what you want to do. Ultimately, you're in charge of your children. You can take them wherever you like. But they're here to help them. They're here to get them back on track faster. Even if they went to wherever, Osceola's clinic, they will still help work with them to get them better. They're in school generally 3 to 6:30 every day. They're at all of our home varsity events, some of our JV events, but they crisscross at the same location. Kyle, come on down. You're the next contestant. Anything you'd like to add, Kyle?
Teresa won't be back until late October, November. She's on maternity leave this fall. But this is my 6th year here. Couple things some of you may have been part of, some of you may not. Last year, about halfway through the year, we started using a program, or we started using it at the beginning of the year, but we started adding parents to a program called Healthy Roster. It's our documentation, so anytime somebody comes in with an injury or anything, we're documenting that so we know we can kind of track that stuff. But we've included parents to all of that so you can get updates. In the past we've had questions where, oh, my kid's been, hurt or not hurt for 6 weeks, and we have no idea who that kid is. Sometimes they don't come see us. This can kind of give you, as parents, that up-to-date knowledge. Usually we're pretty close to within an hour of seeing them, updating that. It might be a couple hours, and if we've got 30 football players that need to get out, we're not going to update them right away, but we'll get that as soon as we can. So once season gets rolling, look for an email from Healthy Roster. It'll have you set up an account. You can download the app if you want, or it just works online as well. And you can chat with myself and Teresa when she's back. Otherwise, you can always give us a call too. Impact testing, I will not be here Tuesday, but next week Tuesday. But otherwise, mornings next week I'll be here. Come in, get that done. I've had a couple kids say, "Oh, I've got work," or "I've got other obligations," and we figured out another time to come in. So I'm more than willing to do that. Like Troy said in the past, we've offered too many times, and then I sit here and no one comes in for 4 hours. So reach out if you can't come in, and we'll get that done. Otherwise, I look forward to this year. So thank you. This is good.
Along the lines on the concussions, it talks, kind of maps out, if you've been diagnosed with concussion, after you've been free of symptoms for 24 hours, you get back into the protocol. And all the things you have to kind of go through, it's not just random, well, we hope you feel better. So steps that are needed, clearance that's needed, must be given by people with those fancy letters behind their name as opposed to just, even our trainers can't just clear them. Impact testing, again, set up all the things that go with that. Sportsmanship, athletes, coaches, parents lead by example, be role models, be supportive, provide encouragement, realistic expectations. We have pretty good fans. We don't run into this too often as supervisor at events, once in a great while, but let's keep that rolling. That's important to us. If you're looking to, your child's graduating and you say, what am I going to do with all my time? Become an official. There's a good idea. We really are we just got an email today, football officials will be down another set of one set retired this year. You kind of get the same sets every year, so you've been out there, we had that guy for a long time. Yeah, you don't get anybody new. 2027, they're talking about, we'll be down a couple with nobody to replace them. And that means possibilities of playing Thursday night games, Saturday afternoon games. So, get into officiating and join the crew. They don't yell at you too terribly much. Must be time to be done, I can't speak. Transportation, there's waivers. We encourage you to ride to and from events, but if you must sign them up or you must transport them for other reasons, we have waivers in place that most of you know about that. Ask your coaches if you have questions. Letter jackets, again, up front, there's a flyer from Heritage. We also work with Designer Logo in Richmond. They weren't able to get me one yet. Person was out for vacation, so again, two good places that I've been working with for several years. We always provide the grad year on the number and the S on the chest, and the pins for every year you letter. Beyond that, if you want any of the other patches, that's above and beyond that you have to purchase. Photos coming up with Cahill, look for emails from them for you to purchase, right? Team photos, we'll do an all-sport poster photo again. Senior banners probably will just take place on the night or the day of your team photos because we'll do the individuals then anyway. So again, if you see an email from Cahill, that's probably what's happening. We're always looking for workers. Get paid to watch your child play. There you go. There's the incentive. Scorebooks, scoreboard, announcing miscellaneous help. WIA tournament events, we have several of those each year. Concessions, our teams work them. Those teams get the percentage of the payback, so that helps. And then supporting other teams. Should be familiar with this, but GoFan is a ticketing service. You can buy tickets online to any varsity event. It's $5 for adults. It's free for students at home, but on the road it's $5 for you. It'll show up as $6 because there's a $1 service fee, right? We all pay on everything we use credit cards for. That goes to GoFan, that's not us. So again, you can, you'll see those on our schedules again. We should be proud of our student athletes. We have a lot of kids that come in here on a daily basis. Some get here by 6:30 and don't get home till 6:30, right? We talk about that schedule. How do you navigate that? Okay? Our students are the ones, our student athletes are the ones that get it done in the classroom. We've had numerous teams and individuals get academic all-state, or team academic all-state, or an individual. Many of us are well over the 3.0. Our core values as an athletic department, you'll see those on those flag out at that plaza. Selfless service, duty, honor, integrity, courage, loyalty, and respect. Those aren't just things we say, those are things that we expect and what we do. We are investing in your children. We want your children to succeed. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing this. Believe me, we're not out to get anybody. We want to succeed. We want success. I want every team to go as far as they possibly can. And we have that ability, capability. Found that quote. Being a great teammate means you are just as happy about your teammate's success as you are about your own success. Great teams have great teammates. You know, think about that for some of you athletes in here. Does that translate to you? Or I had a bad game, but we won, so I'm going to sulk about it. I had a great game, but we lost, right? End of the day, it should be the win and the loss. And then the next day, when someone's asked how you did, say, we did this. Not, well, I had this, I did that, right? Great teammates. Speak of great teams. Appreciate your time a little longer than in the past, but I think it was really important to have Carmen come in and talk. If you have any questions about eligibility or anything, you can always reach me at that email and my extension. That's my school line. Laura is our go-to person as far as making sure she takes it from the registration onto the spreadsheets that the coaches see. Yeah, we'll get rocking. Football will stay here in the MPR. Cross